He could like point at you from this far away and you'd feel it as palpable as someone pushing you around. It's like, ugh, ugh.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Somewhere in the world, there are people who can harness energy in ways that defy everything we understand. Not as fantasy, not as magic, but as an ancient discipline, one that warriors, monks, and mystics have guarded for centuries. You just heard Mel Gibson recounting his encounter with Chang, a Qigong master from Indonesia, who demonstrated something extraordinary. A man who could send electrical currents through his hands, ignite objects without fire, and manipulate energy in ways science has yet to explain. But this isn't just about Chang. His abilities point to something much deeper, a lost art that warriors have used for centuries, a power hidden within the breath. Because what if the key to unlocking superhuman strength, endurance, and even energy projection has been inside us all along?
He got this whole other approach of breathing and visualizations that would actually draw energy into your lower chakras, and then you'd release the energy and it would create this kind of movement.
For thousands of years, warriors weren't just trained in combat, they were trained in breath. To the untrained, breathing is automatic. But to those who understood its secrets, breath was a weapon, a shield, and a gateway to hidden power. The Shaolin monks of China mastered a technique called Iron Shirt Qigong, a form of breathwork that made their bodies nearly indestructible. They could withstand strikes, break bricks over their heads, and even take sword slashes without injury. But the secret wasn't just muscle or toughness. It was breath-controlled energy circulation, strengthening their bodies from the inside out. The samurai of Japan had their own breathing mastery. They used Kiai breathing, where a single explosive exhalation could disrupt an opponent's energy, freeze them in fear, or even enhance the force of a sword strike. This wasn't superstition. Modern science now recognizes that sound, breath, and intent can alter brainwave states, increasing reaction speed and combat effectiveness. Even in the freezing Himalayan mountains, Tibetan monks practiced Tummo breathing, a technique that allowed them to generate so much inner heat that they could melt snow around them. Western researchers tested these monks and found something incredible. Despite being exposed to extreme cold, their body temperatures remained high, as if their breath was unlocking an internal fire. What do all these warriors have in common? They weren't just controlling their breath, they were manipulating their own energy. Breath was never just about oxygen, it was a bridge between the physical and something deeper. Something modern science is only beginning to understand. Mastery over breath wasn't a gift. It was earned. Across cultures, those who unlocked its hidden power underwent intense training, often in isolation, dedicating years to a discipline that modern science is only beginning to understand. But what exactly did their training look like? In Qigong and Mo Pai, students weren't immediately taught how to harness energy. Instead, they spent years doing one thing: training the breath. They practiced deep, controlled inhalations, synchronized with visualization techniques, channeling energy through specific meridians in the body. Only after this foundation was solid could they begin advanced techniques like energy projection. In Japan, the samurai's Kiai breathing wasn't just about shouting. It was trained over thousands of repetitions. Warriors learned to control their diaphragm, timing their exhalations with attacks to maximize force and disrupt their enemy's focus. But there was something deeper happening. Modern research now suggests that vocalized breath techniques like Kiai could stimulate the vagus nerve, creating an almost trance-like state of heightened perception and reaction speed. Then there were the Tibetan monks who trained in Tummo breathwork for years before they could raise their internal heat. It wasn't just about breathing deeply. It involved intricate breath holds, contraction of inner muscles, and precise mental focus. Western researchers found that their breath training didn't just increase body heat. It shifted brainwaves into high-frequency gamma states, linked to profound meditative absorption. And today we see glimpses of this same mastery in the Wim Hof method, freediving breathwork, and elite military training. Modern athletes and special forces soldiers train to extend their CO2 tolerance, use breath to override pain, and tap into states of superhuman endurance. What the ancients knew instinctively, we are now proving in labs. But here's the secret. All of these practices share a common foundation: discipline, repetition, and an unwavering belief that breath is the key to unlocking hidden potential. For centuries, warriors and mystics have claimed that breath unlocks hidden powers. But is there science behind it? Can breath really alter human performance to such an extreme level? Modern research suggests that the answer is yes, and the implications are mind-blowing. Every breath you take is directly linked to your nervous system, controlling whether you feel calm and in control or stressed and reactive. There are two key players in this system: the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for fight or flight, increasing heart rate, sharpening focus, and flooding muscles with energy, essentially turning the body into a battlefield-ready machine. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite. It slows the heart rate, relaxes the body, and enhances recovery. This is the system monks and Qigong masters trained to enter deep meditative states, and warriors mastered to stay calm even in the face of death. The way you breathe determines which system is in control. Short, shallow breaths trigger stress, anxiety, and survival mode, while deep, controlled breathing activates power, focus, and energy regulation. Ancient masters didn't need scientific labs to prove this. They understood it through experience. But breath does more than just shift the nervous system. It is directly linked to energy production. Your body runs on oxygen. Without it, muscles fatigue faster, the brain slows down, and endurance collapses. But what happens when you take control of oxygen intake? Techniques like Wim Hof breathing and Tummo meditation hyper-oxygenate the body, flooding cells with energy and pushing human performance beyond normal limits. Studies show that controlled breathwork increases red blood cell count, improving oxygen delivery to muscles. But the real secret lies in CO2 tolerance, a trained ability found in freedivers, Qigong practitioners, and elite warriors. By controlling carbon dioxide levels, they can extend endurance, delay fatigue, and maintain peak performance far longer than the average person. Breathwork also regulates nitric oxide production, which expands blood vessels, enhancing circulation, muscle recovery, and even mental clarity. But here's where things get even more mysterious. Your body isn't just flesh and bones, it's an electrical system. Every heartbeat, every muscle contraction, every thought in your brain is powered by bioelectricity, and breath is the switch that controls it. In Qigong and Mopai, breathwork was used to cultivate internal energy, a force that could be felt, stored, and even projected. Western science has now confirmed that the human heart produces a measurable electromagnetic field, which expands when breathing deeply and contracts under stress. Even brainwaves shift based on breath rhythms. Slow, deep breathing moves the brain into alpha and theta states, linked to heightened creativity, deep focus, and even altered states of consciousness. Scientists studying Tibetan monks practicing Tummo meditation discovered something incredible. By using breath alone, these monks could raise their body temperature by up to 8 degrees Celsius. Not through movement, not through external heat, just breath. Imagine the implications. If breath can override the body's survival responses, regulate energy production, and even generate heat, what else is possible? This is where Chang's story becomes even more intriguing. His training in Mopai required years of disciplined breathwork before he could even begin learning how to manipulate energy. He claimed that breath was the key to charging the body with bioelectric energy, which could then be used for seemingly supernatural feats. And while mainstream science still struggles to explain exactly how this works, One thing is certain: breath is not just a tool for survival, it is a gateway to unlocking human potential. So if warriors, monks, and mystics across history have trained their breath to tap into something beyond the ordinary, what else is possible when we do the same? Breath is the one thing you've done since birth and will continue to do until your last moment. It is automatic, yet when controlled, it becomes a tool. One that ancient warriors, monks, and mystics used to push beyond the limits of the ordinary. Science is only beginning to understand what these masters have known for centuries: that breath is more than air. It is energy, it is power, and it is transformation. Chang was a mystery to the world, but his teachings point to a deeper truth: that the body is capable of far more than we've been led to believe. With the right training, warriors could remain calm in battle, monks could withstand freezing temperatures, and energy could be harnessed in ways we still don't fully understand. What if breath isn't just a survival function? What if it's the bridge between the physical and the unseen? Every ancient tradition, from Qigong to the samurai, understood one thing: the one who controls their breath controls their mind, and the one who controls their mind controls reality. So what happens when you start taking control of your breath? What doors could it open? Maybe Chang's abilities weren't an anomaly. Maybe they were just the beginning.